Hello, everybody. Today we're going to discuss the Gatsby connection project. So if we take a look at the directions here, it says you will create a short slide presentation detailing connections that you made to the novel from either your own life or today's society in general. So we've talked before, and I'm sure before in English class, you've thought about connecting to whatever you're reading, whether it be to your own life or whether it to be something that's going on in modern day society. That's basically what you're going to do for this project. So you do need to find two different connections. Each should get its own slide. I will say that if you're doing one of the connections and it looks like you're having trouble fitting your information on one slide, then maybe extend it into two. Use your best judgment on that, but you only need two total connections. The honors distinction requirement is to do a third connection. And as we've done before, whether you're doing honors distinction in the future or not, if you do the third connection, you will get 6 points extra credit. Okay, each connection slide, you should have an explanation of the major theme, symbol, or character that you're going to make your connection about. So I would think about the different themes that we've discussed, the different symbols, think, if there's some sort of connection I can make to the Valley of the Ashes. Does it remind me of some place that I know? Daisy and what she represents, what she symbolizes, it reminds me of this. Okay, think through what your connection is going to be, but before you actually get to the actual connection, write about what exactly you're connecting to from the novel. You'll see in the example what I mean. Then explain the connection. This is where you focus on the example from your own life or from today's society. By the way, there's sentence requirements here, 2 to 3 sentences for the first part here, the explanation of the major theme, symbol, or character. 6 sentences required for the actual connection itself. If your connection is an example from today's society, you need to find a link to an article so you can source this connection. So say, and again, I'm going to show you my example momentarily. Explanation of the relation, and then the last thing you need to do is then explain the relation between your chosen theme, symbol, character, and your connection. So again, you need the element from the novel, then your connection, then how are the two related? Okay, and then lastly, you need one visual somewhere on your slide with a caption that explains how this visual relates to this connection to the novel. Okay, if you have connections to modern day society and you have these articles, you do need a works cited page. Okay, so let's look at the example here so you can see what I'm talking about. Now I faced the issue where my first connection couldn't fit on one slide, so I decided to make it into two. So you can see my first connection here, and again, you can't use this example, this is mine. My first connection involves a scene where Jay Gatsby is reaching out for the green light. We know from further reading that his light represents his long-lost love, Daisy Buchanan. So the light and Daisy therefore symbolize wealth and status. Gatsby desperately wants to acquire these things and is blinded in his pursuit of them to any consequences for his behavior. So here, what I just read you was A, me describing the element from the novel. Okay, now the next thing is going to be explaining the connection. Okay, this reminds me of the causes of the Great Recession from 2008. According to History.com, and you see I found a quote from a source, it seems that the effort to make a quick profit, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so there's my connection. Then my next slide, and again, I've titled it so it's clear that it's still the first connection. Here is C, where I explain the relation between that element from the novel and the connection. Okay, this can be related to Gatsby trying to make a quick profit to win over Daisy, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and then here's my visual. It's simply Gatsby standing in front of the green light, and then a brief description. Okay, all right, so my first connection is done. Then I would do my second connection. And here are some templates of how you could start those different elements. Remember, there's 3 elements each slide, or for each connection, I should say. Okay, well, actually, 4 elements if you include the visual. Okay, so here is the 3 elements, and then I would probably squeeze in a visual here. And then here's my works cited page, which you have a lot of resources out there on the internet to be able to determine how to cite a internet source. Okay, so you should look that up. Okay, so that is the sample of the project. Here's the rubric I'll use when you post it on Classroom. As you can see, it's the 2 connections, each requirement, as you see up here, requirement A, B, C, D. Here's requirement A, B, C, D, connection 2, A, B, C, D. And then the formatting, just make sure you have your works cited page, make sure the visuals are properly placed, make sure it's easy to read. Okay, don't put a really weird background and lime green font and it's impossible for me to read it. Make it so it is legible. Okay, that is your priority over making it look so fancy. Okay, I need to be able to read it properly without hurting my corneas. Okay, and then if you do the honors distinction, that's that third connection. And like I said, you would get 6 extra credit points as long as you completed all the requirements for attempting that. Okay, so that's the Gatsby Connection Project. This is not supposed to be something that is too crazy involved. I think it's always important to connect to literature. So let me know if you have any questions.